The human digestive system explained like never before. Welcome to Biomed Explorer. In this video, I'd like to talk about the human digestive system. In this video, I'll discuss what the digestive system actually is, what happens to food from the very first bite, how it travels through a single long tube inside your body, the stomach and intestines themselves, the hidden organs that support the whole process, and the major jobs this system does every single day to keep you alive. So, let's get started. What is the digestive system? Most people know food goes in one end and waste comes out the other. They know their stomach growls when they're hungry, and they know eating too fast can leave them uncomfortable. But very few people actually understand how this entire system works together as a single coordinated machine. So what exactly is it? The digestive system is a long, continuous tube that runs from your mouth all the way to the other end of your body, supported by a handful of powerful organs along the way. This tube is called the gastrointestinal tract, and if you stretched it out straight, it would measure somewhere around 30 feet long, coiled neatly inside your abdomen like a garden hose packed into a small box. Its entire purpose is to take the food you eat and break it down into pieces small enough for your bloodstream to absorb while getting rid of whatever your body can't use. Think of it as a full processing plant that runs around the clock. Raw materials come in, get broken down, sorted, and shipped out to where they're needed, and the leftover scraps get bagged up and removed. On average, it takes somewhere between 30 and 40 hours for a single meal to make that entire journey from the moment you swallow to the moment it leaves your body. Along the way, your digestive system pulls out the carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, and minerals your cells depend on for energy, growth, and repair. Without this system working properly, your body would have no way to turn a sandwich or a bowl of rice into usable fuel. What happens to food from the first bite? Now, let's talk about where digestion actually starts, and here's something that surprises a lot of people. Digestion doesn't begin when food hits your stomach. It begins before you even take a bite. The moment you smell or see something delicious, your brain sends a signal ahead to your salivary glands, telling them to start producing saliva in preparation. Once food actually enters your mouth, your teeth get to work cutting and grinding it into smaller pieces, a process called mechanical digestion. At the same time, saliva mixes into the mix, and it isn't just there to make swallowing easier. It contains an enzyme that starts breaking down carbohydrates immediately, meaning your body is already digesting that bite of bread before you've even finished chewing it. Your tongue then rolls everything into a soft little ball called a bolus, and swallowing sends it down into the esophagus, a muscular tube that squeezes in rhythmic waves to push the bolus downward, whether you're standing up, lying down, or even upside down. That squeezing motion has a name, and it's one you'll hear again throughout this video. It's called peristalsis, and it's the reason food doesn't just rely on gravity to get where it needs to go. The stomach, your body's mixer and grinder. After traveling down the esophagus, food arrives at the stomach, a muscular sac-like organ that acts as both a mixer and a chemical processing station. As food enters, the stomach's thick walls begin to churn and contract, physically kneading the food while releasing a powerful mix of acid and enzymes. This acid is strong enough to break down tough proteins and kill off many harmful bacteria that might have hitched a ride in with your meal. In fact, the acid inside your stomach is concentrated enough that if it weren't for a thick layer of protective mucus lining the stomach wall, it would actually begin digesting the organ itself. Over the course of a few hours, that churning and chemical breakdown transforms solid food into a thick, semi-liquid mixture known as chyme, which is then released in small, controlled amounts into the small intestine so it doesn't overwhelm what comes next. A ring of muscle at the base of the stomach acts like a gatekeeper, opening and closing to meter out this mixture bit by bit. This is also part of why eating a large meal can leave you feeling full for hours afterward. Your stomach is deliberately taking its time, making sure the small intestine downstream never gets more than it can handle at once. Here's the path food actually takes through the small intestine. This is where the real magic of absorption happens. The small intestine is made up of three connected sections, the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum, and together they stretch over 20 feet long, folded and coiled to fit inside your abdomen. As the liquid mixture from the stomach enters the duodenum, it gets mixed with digestive juices from two major support organs, the pancreas and the liver. The pancreas contributes powerful enzymes that continue breaking down carbohydrates, fats, and proteins into their smallest usable forms, while the liver contributes bile, a substance stored in the gallbladder that helps dissolve and absorb fats, much like dish soap helps break up grease. As this mixture travels through the rest of the small intestine, nutrients pass through its walls into the bloodstream. The inner lining of the small intestine is covered in millions of tiny finger-like projections called villi, which massively increase the surface area available for absorption, almost like turning a smooth hallway into one-lined wall-to-wall with sponges. The large intestine, the final stretch. Whatever isn't absorbed in the small intestine moves onward into the large intestine, a shorter but wider tube whose main job is to reclaim water and pack together whatever solid waste is left behind. Trillions of bacteria live inside your large intestine, forming what's known as your gut microbiome, and they play a surprisingly important role. Some of these bacteria help break down fiber that your own body can't digest on its own, while others produce certain vitamins and help keep harmful microbes in check. As water gets reabsorbed along the way, the remaining material gradually solidifies until it eventually reaches the rectum and is stored there until it's ready to be eliminated through the anus, marking the very end of the digestive tract. The hidden support team, your accessory organs. As blood enzymes and hormones move through this entire process, several organs work quietly behind the scenes without ever touching food directly. The pancreas, besides supplying digestive enzymes, also regulates blood sugar by releasing insulin. The liver, one of the hardest working organs in your entire body, produces bile, filters toxins out of your bloodstream, and stores extra nutrients for later use. The gallbladder acts like a small storage tank, holding bile until it's needed and releasing it in bursts whenever fatty food arrives in the small intestine. None of these organs are part of the tube food actually travels through, but without them, digestion as you know it simply couldn't happen. How the whole system stays coordinated. You might be wondering how all of this manages to happen automatically without you ever having to think about it. The answer lies in a dense network of nerves lining your entire digestive tract, sometimes nicknamed your second brain because of how independently it can function. This network communicates constantly with hormones and with your actual brain, adjusting the speed of digestion, signaling hunger and fullness, and even influencing your mood. Specialized cells scattered along your stomach and intestines release hormones at just the right moments, one signaling your brain that you're hungry and it's time to eat, another signaling that you're full and it's time to stop, and others telling your pancreas exactly when to release its enzymes. This constant back-and-forth conversation between your gut and your brain is part of why stress or anxiety can so easily cause stomach discomfort, and why a heavy, satisfying meal can leave you feeling calm and relaxed shortly after. Your gut, in a very real sense, is talking to your brain all day long, whether you're aware of it or not. The three main jobs of the digestive system. So now that we've covered all of the parts, let's bring it together. The digestive system has three main jobs that it performs every single day of your life. The first job is breakdown. Food arrives in large, complex forms that your cells simply cannot use, and mechanical and chemical digestion work together to reduce it into small, usable molecules. The second job is absorption. Once nutrients are broken down small enough, they need to cross into your bloodstream, primarily through the walls of the small intestine so they can be delivered to the rest of your body. The third job is elimination. Whatever your body cannot use, whether it's indigestible fiber or waste byproducts, needs to be safely packaged and removed, which is exactly what the large intestine and rectum are built to do. It's worth briefly mentioning how important it is to keep this system healthy, since digestive problems remain one of the most common health concerns worldwide. Conditions like acid reflux, where stomach acid escapes upward into the esophagus, irritable bowel syndrome, where the gut becomes overly sensitive and irregular, and gallstones, where bile hardens into painful deposits, all stem from disruptions somewhere along this long and delicate tube. Even something as simple as chronic dehydration or a diet low in fiber can throw the entire system out of balance. This is part of why doctors so often emphasize eating slowly, staying hydrated, and getting enough fiber, because so much of your long-term comfort and health depends on keeping this system running smoothly. Wrapping it up, there you have it. The human digestive system, a remarkable 30-foot journey of muscles, enzymes, and hidden support organs working every single day to keep you alive. It breaks food down, starting from the very first bite, pulls out the nutrients your body depends on through the small intestine, reclaims water and eliminates waste through the large intestine, and relies on a quiet support team of organs working behind the scenes the entire time. The mouth, the stomach, the intestines, and the accessory organs all work together as part of this system to keep your body fueled, balanced, and functioning. The digestive system may be something you rarely think about, but with every single meal, it's working hard behind the scenes to keep you alive. Thanks for watching, and Biomed Explorer uploads a new science video every day. Please subscribe and share.